Welcome to Morning Message for December the 15th. Many of us look forward to certain Christmas specials that will appear on the TV in the weeks and perhaps even months that lead up to Christmas Day. Could be a Charlie Brown Christmas, or It's a Wonderful Life, A Christmas Carol, all sorts of different things that people look forward to, must-sees as they lead into the Christmas season. There's an odd little film, a little animation that I always looked forward to. And I remember my sister Penny and I watching this when we were growing up. I think it appeared on CTV, and it was usually late in November, early in December. It seemed to be the first thing that would come on the television before all the other Christmas specials started. And it's called The Selfish Giant. A wonderful little animation. It was done in the early 70s. I think it even had an Academy Award nomination. I don't remember if it won or not, but it's a peculiar little film, and it's very dated. The animation is dated. The music is dated as well. It's early 70s folk rock music. And done, I think, kind of like a choir might do it. It's really quite charming in many ways. I say the story, the animation is dated, but it's about a giant with small hands who wants to build a wall to keep everybody out. So perhaps it's not so dated. Perhaps it's very modern in one sense. It's a wonderful story, and as I think I said, I think it was an Oscar Wilde story that was turned into this animation. And it doesn't take long for us to jump to the conclusion that the little child that's in the story is actually Jesus Christ. And it's an appropriate thing as we come on Christmas to see. And if I think of it, I'll put a link to it in the comments area, so if you want to watch it, you can, and perhaps it'll stir up some memories for you. But it's also a story that I think is more of an Easter story than a Christmas story. In fact, here at St. Paul's, we've read it instead of a sermon on the first Sunday of Lent. I've just read that story, that unlike what was happening in the U.S. the last 4 years, the Christ child is able to break in to this wall that the giant puts around himself. He is able to break in to the giant's heart. And that's the wonderful message of the story, that no matter who we are, no matter how selfish we've been, no matter what kinds of mistakes that we might have made in our past, today it is possible for the Christ child to break into our hearts, for the love of God to break into our lives and to change us, to allow us to break down those walls that we've manufactured and to welcome other children, to welcome other people into the bounty that is our genuine self. And I think that is tremendous good news. When we read the birth narratives of Jesus, we have to remember that those stories were all written after the fact. I mean, after the resurrection. So the peculiar bits and pieces of those stories, the things that might confuse us, let's think about those in terms of what the writer might have been trying to tell us about the whole story, that this is an extraordinary birth because it's the birth of God. It's the birth of the one who will sacrifice his life in order to bring about our salvation, in order to break into our lives, in order to bring the love of God into our lives. So when we listen to the Christmas story at Christmas time, keep the whole story in mind. It really brings it to life. It really can impact us then. This isn't just a cute little story about a babe wrapped in swaddling clothes. This is a story about the salvation of the world. This is a story about God breaking into our lives. And that's good news indeed. And as we approach Christmas, my hope and prayer for all of you this day is that God will break into your lives again. God bless. Amen.